Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another video, and in today's video I'm going to talk about the difference between var, let and const in JavaScript. Alright, so for all of you that you have been asking me for my previous tutorials, like, hey Telmo, what's the difference between var and let and const? I'm not sure what this is all about. So yeah, I just decided to make this video, just like a quick video to just like clarify these and to just explain you. And you don't need to know a lot of JavaScript or anything to understand this. So I'm just going to show you in here quickly. So I have in here, I created just like, first of all, I created an index.html page. This is like a simple template. And I created a script.js file, which is in here completely empty. And I referenced it in here on the bottom. So I just put script.js. It's the name of the file that I created. And it's just next to our index, all right? Alright, so let's get started with this in here. And first of all, I'm just going to show you in here a console.log to make sure that our script file is working fine. So I'm going to put in here console.log hello, and I'm just close this, refresh. You guys can just open your file by going in here index, and it's going to open a new page, and I'm using the Google Chrome browser. And in here, to open the developer tools, you can just press F12 on your keyboard or right click with your mouse and go to inspect. And in here on the top, you have console. Look, we have hello that we just put in here in our script.js. So it means that our file is well referenced and we can start working with this. All right, so I'm going to start with variables, yeah? Whenever you created a variable basically is like a container, something that you're going to give some values to it and it's going to hold it, all right? So if I'm going to start in here, for example, a var of color, and so this is, if I do this, look, var color, I'm just like declaring a variable. So it means that this variable exists, okay? So if I do in here console.log color, so I just want to log the value of this variable into our developer tools, okay? Let me refresh, and in here it says undefined. So if it says undefined, it means that we initialized the variable, but we didn't give it any value, all right? So if I go in here and I'm going to give it in here now a value of, let's say, green. I'm putting this between double quotes because this is some text, is a string, okay? And if I go in here, I refresh, and now we have green, okay? So basically, when the browser is just like parsing, is reading through your script.js file, it's coming here from the top and it says, okay, var color, okay, the variable has been initialized, declared, but let's see if we assign any value to it, okay? We have a equals to green in between double quotes, so it means that it's a string. So we have a value, all right? So next thing we have in here is console.log color. So we're going to log the value of this one. And as we could see in here, it's green. So it's all fine. But what if I'm going to move this console.log in here to here to the top, console.log color. So this is the first thing that the browser is going to do because it's the first command, yeah? Console.log color. But this variable color has not been declared still. So let's see what's going to happen. Now it says undefined, okay? So it means undefined. It's because whenever you create a variable on JavaScript with this var, JavaScript by default puts something like this in here on the top. You can't see it, but JavaScript does it on the back end, you know? So this is what JavaScript is doing. var color. Okay, so is automatically just like initializing it at the top and not giving it any value. All right, that's why when you get in here console.log color, you get a value of undefined. It means that the variable exists on this global scope that you are working, but there is no value assigned to it. And if, for example, you put in here next color, something like this, next color, a new variable. If you try to console.log this, it's going to say next color is not defined. That's because, you see, there is no var color anywhere in here. If you're going to put in here, for example, var next color, in here at the bottom, JavaScript, even though you are putting this in here because you are creating a variable, JavaScript by default is going to put it in here at the top. So now, instead of having this error, you're going to have undefined. Undefined, it means that the variable exists, but there is no value in it. Okay, let's just refresh. Look, undefined. Great, this is working fine. Okay, so having this, like I said, JavaScript is putting like hidden on the back, the same like having this in here, and the same like this as well, because we are also using let. Okay, but now let's say, for example, that you create a variable instead of var, you are going to use let. Okay, let next color. With let, sorry, JavaScript is not adding this by default in here at the top. For example, like this, next color is not doing this. All right, so if you are doing this console.log next color, is going to give you an error like, okay, until here the variable has not been initialized and not any value given to it, so we should expect an error. Okay, look, next color is not defined. Okay, but if you're going to move this in here before, now we have this next color variable initialized, but there is no value assigned to it, so we should get a value of undefined. Okay, undefined. But now let's say that we are going in here and I'm going to give it a value of blue. Okay, now if we refresh the page, blue, that's fine. Let's do the same. Let's put this in here at the bottom. Let next color equals to blue. What's going to happen is going to give it an error again. You see? Because it says it's not defined. But if I change this to var next color equals to blue, JavaScript by default hidden on the back is going to put this in here at the top. You don't have to do this, it's just JavaScript is putting this automatically. Let me get rid of this because we have var next color equals to blue. Now when we get in here console.log next color, it should give you undefined instead of this error. Undefined. Alright, so basically is, you see, this is like the main difference between a var and let in JavaScript. And also something like this, the let variables. So for example, if I create a if var I equals to 0, I less than 10, and I plus plus. So this is just like a counter. A for, not if, a for in here. And okay, so we got in here a for, var I equals to 0, less than 10, and I plus plus, and I'm going to put in here a console dot log, and I'm going to put in here I. Okay, so in here I'm going to try, I'm going to do this console dot log I. All right, so let's see what happens in here now. Let me just get rid of this. Okay, so in here, I'm gonna put in here something like this: the value inside of the for loop is, and I'm gonna put a plus to concatenate, and then in here I'm gonna put in here the value of I. Okay, and I'm gonna put this in here, the value of I outside of the for loop is. Okay, so whoops, something wrong in here, maybe it's this one. Okay, let me refresh, and that's it. Okay, as you guys can see in here, we are logging a console.log like starting from I equals to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. So basically this is a counter. Let's start in here. It starts with a 0, and then the value of I inside of the for loop is 0, the value of I inside of the for loop is 1, and it goes until 9. Okay, that's because we put it I is less than 10, so it's never going to reach 10. And then obviously, because in the end of this we still do the I plus plus, we say console.log, the value of I outside of the for loop is 10. Okay, this is something that you are using with a var. But in here, if you are putting, for example, let, if you are going to put let, basically this variable I that you are creating inside of this for loop, because this is just like a local scope, this is his own scope, all right? And we have a console.log in the global scope, so it's outside of this block element. This value in here, if you're going to try to access it, you can't, because you are using let. Let only works inside of the same local scope. Okay, let's refresh and see. Look, all of these values inside of the for loop, they are working, but if you try to access I, this value I, outside of this for loop, it will give you an error because this variable only works inside of this local scope. So basically that's the main difference between let and var. Okay, so I hope you guys could understand like the main difference between like let and var. And just quickly now I'm going to show you what's const. So const is like short for a constant, something that it will remain the same. And when should you use const? Const basically it's something that you want to create. It's not a variable, but it's going to be something that you want to create that is going to be constant all the time. It's going to be the same. So if you are using something like this, const name, for example, my name is Telmo, yeah? I'm going to create this const name, and I'm going to put it equals to Telmo, okay? And I'm going to do in here a console.log, and I'm going to put in here tel name, okay? That's the const that we created. If I refresh, what's wrong in here? Name, save. JS8. Let me just get rid of this. I don't know if this is affecting or not. Yeah, okay. So in here, as you can see, we have a const of Telmo, all right? But now if I try to put in here name equals to, because we already initialized it with const, I don't need to put const again. I'm going to put it like this. Name equals Sampaio. If I refresh, it's going to give me an error. That's because whenever you create a const, you shouldn't be able to change the value of it. Should be all the time staying the same. And if you are using something like a const, it will use less resources on your application. And it's for something that you want to make sure it doesn't change the value, okay? Yeah, so basically that's it. Because, for example, if I was going to create a variable like name equals to Telmo, and then I'm going in here and I'm going to say name equals to Sampaio, if I do console.log, instead of logging the name Telmo, it's going to log the name of Sampaio. Look. Oops, let me save. Refresh, and now you have Sampaio. Because a variable allows you to be changing all the time. The same with a let. So, look, Sampaio is still the same. Alright, so now you guys are going to ask me like, okay, Telmo, these let and const, they have been added in the latest ES6 JavaScript, the latest ECMAScript. So why, if it's a best practice to use let and const now, why are we still using VAR and there is still so many people using VAR? That's because, you know, there is so many websites out there in the web with the old JavaScript style using this VAR that it would just like make them completely obsolete. They would not work properly. So basically they still let this kind of VAR still stay on. So other websites that exist for a long time, they can still be able to run properly. But I believe that in the near future, they will just like make it completely obsolete and they will just remove it. But so far, this is just like for code legacy, to make sure that all the websites that have been built before, they will still work so far until now. So yeah, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you could understand like the main differences between let and var and const. And this was something that a while ago when I was learning, it was making me a little bit of a confusion, and I saw a lot of you guys that you still don't know as well. That's why I decided to make this video, and I hope you could understand a bit of it. If not, just let me know in the comments down below. I try to explain as best as I can. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.